yes, welcome back to See the Stories. This is a signature segment of the 3-Hour News Show. By the way, I did ask you about your bedtime. It's around 8 or 9. You, on the other hand, have some difficulties in sleeping.
You are so right, yes.
What is actually the core problem, if you can examine yourself?
Well, I've been thinking maybe it is because of my son going back to school full-time that I have to prepare his meal daily, and somewhat it consumed my mind, and I just cannot fall asleep at night thinking about what to cook the next day.
So it's more psychological.
Exactly.
Psychological.
So stress.
So stress, yes.
Mild stress.
That stress also plays a huge part in how your sleeping pattern could be actually affected. And I'm proud to say that, proud of myself because I can sleep more than 8 hours last night, even almost every day, because, my bedtime probably not far stretched from you.
Right.
I would probably feel like super sleepy at 10. And, but did you know, according to the sleepfoundation.org, most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day, although some people may need as few as 6 hours or as many as 10 hours.
I want the 10. I don't want the 6. I want the 10.
I need a minimum of 8 hours in order to be able to function the next day,
Exactly.
In order to function properly. Otherwise, I'll be cranky,
But I don't know, you know what?
sleepy.
Sometimes if I could not really get enough sleep at night, a good night's sleep, I would probably compensate with a little nap in the afternoon.
But you're able to do so.
I am able to do so. And
We are not able to do that, right?
I don't know,
When
but-
you're a mother, sleep is very expensive.
Exactly.
But does sleep really affect our quality of life? Let's take a look.
Having the ideal sleeping hours is important for everyone. It can maintain our ideal weight, support growth and development for children, and also able to relieve stress.
Now, aside from all of that, all of our organs also need time to actually heal or rest, including the brain, the skin, metabolic system, and also hormones. Now, having enough sleep can also increase the immune system.
There are several factors that determine the recommended amount of sleep, such as our age. The National Sleep Foundation guidelines said healthy adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Babies, toddlers, and teens need even more sleep to enable their growth and development. People over 65 should also get 7 to 8 hours per night. But I don't know, my dad, he wakes up at 5 every day,
Right.
and he could probably go to sleep quite late at night, probably like 11 or 12. And I don't know, his body clock is somehow, for me, it's just amazing. I could not do the things that he's been doing.
The body adjusted already.
Exactly.
right?
It seems like he doesn't even need that much time to sleep, right?
Exactly. I was like, no, I might need my good night's sleep. But many people have trouble falling asleep, like Rizia, and this became a problem as it affects their quality of life, from work performance, way of thinking, mental health, and it can also affect your weight, because diabetes and heart disease.
Sounds scary.
Exactly, right? But, the things that got me into a good sleeping pattern was actually because of my body weight journey.
Right.
So in this one period of time, my coach told me to be able to sleep in a sufficient amount of time so that the development of the training that I'm doing could be maximized.
Right.
So this is something that
There's correlation, right?
Exactly, that I didn't know correlated. Now, since we are talking about sleep, we're now connected with a sleep expert. This is also something that I'd never known before. So a sleep expert from Singapore, Zoe Chu. Hello, Zoe.
Hello, guys.
Zoe, I never know that a sleep expert do exist, and you're actually the first one. Now,
Well, now you know.
on that note, Zoe, can you tell us more about what sleep expert is?
Well, sleep expert for me, in my case, is I transform zombies into sleeping beauties.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
Okay.
That's a good one, right? That is a good one. You know, zombies to sleeping beauties.
And I like that inscription, in sleep we trust. I do trust in my sleep. But what makes you interested in studying this field? But probably from your personal experience, like have you ever suffered from sleeping problems before?
Yes, I used to be a zombie myself. This
Right.
was 16 years ago.
I see.
Yes, and because this was back in New Zealand, because I was living there for over 10 years, and I brought my twins home from the hospital.
All right.
And so they were terrible sleepers, and I was a clueless first-time mom to my twins. And you know, there were so many nights, okay, that they were both awake at the same time or even at different hours. One
Oh
would wake
my
up at
God.
2 a.m. and the other would wake up at 4 a.m. So can you imagine how sleep deprived I was?
I can surely imagine because I have one child and it was hard for me during his newborn days. I can't imagine having two at once.
Alone having two, right?
Right?
Okay.
Well, Zoe, as we know, sleeping hours are different, right, for people with different ages. So, can you please explain to us how many hours of sleep does an adult need?
Yep.
A productive adult.
Yeah, so adult needs 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That is what the National Sleep Foundation recommend as well.
Okay.
Nine?
So how about babies, kids, teenagers? You know, how long do they need to sleep in a normal way?
Okay, so babies, like for 0 to 3 months old newborns, they need 16 to 18 hours of sleep. Okay, then infants, 3 to 6 months, they need 14 to 16 hours of sleep.
Right.
And babies, like 6 to 12 months, they still need at least 14 hours. And then toddlers, between 1 to 2 years old, they still need 13 to 14. And then preschooler, 3 to 5 years old, they need 12 to 13 hours. And teenagers, they need 9 to 11 hours of sleep.
Right, right. So
Okay, talking
different
of
times.
talking of this, so that might affect the quality of sleep. I mean, you know, some people might say that a very few deep sleep is better than, you know, long light sleep and something like that. But what I want to know is, Zoe, what affects people's sleep quality? Is it like the deep sleep state or the environment or anything else?
Yeah, the food that you eat can affect the quality of your sleep because some people, they might be sensitive to certain type of food. Okay, so that can actually affect your sleep quality. And then also the sleep environment, you know, maybe before you actually go to bed, you might be exposed to blue light from your gadgets, and all this can suppress your melatonin because melatonin is the sleepy hormone that you need in order to fall asleep and stay asleep.
Okay, now you didn't mention about the foods, right? I'm really curious about the food. The food that we actually need to take before we want to go to sleep, right? That we consume for dinner, that is, and we need to avoid before we want to have a good night's sleep. Right?
What are those?
Yes, so it's important to eat, you know, wholesome meal, like avoid processed food if possible, because that is going to disrupt your blood sugar level and all that. So it's important also to know when to eat because expert has actually recommended that you need to only consume food after that 3 hours after that, then you should go to bed because you don't want to have digestion problem and all that, and it can also cause acid reflux before you go to bed if you consume your food too close to bedtime.
Okay,
No.
now how about Hans, how about the sleeping time?
Sleeping time.
Does it need to be like persist, like every day
Every-
needs to be
Every 8 p.m., every 9 p.m.
Okay, so that depends on your chronotype. Okay, so all of us have different circadian rhythm. So it's important to know what kind of sleep animals you are. Do you guys know about the sleep animals?
No, what is that? Wow, this is getting more interesting.
I want to be a bear. I want to be a hibernating bear, but I can't. I want to be a bear.
So what are actually the sleeping animals?
The good news is 50% of the population are bears. That's why bears are actually, they go to bed around 10 p.m. and then they wake up when the sun rises, which is around 6 or 7.
No, I have school, remember? Oh, yes. Yes, since I'm doing my speciality, no bear for me. I'm not a bear anymore.
So that means I belong to the bear classification then.
You know, our society, most of us, we work 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
So actually, this society is actually created by people who are bears because this is our natural circadian rhythm.
Oh, that
And
explains.
what are the other animals?
Oh, you have wolves, which is the night owls. Okay, they tend to sleep later and also wake up later as well. And then you have dolphin. They have a very chaotic sleep schedule.
Okay.
And the lions, they are the early birds. So they wake up. They sleep very early and they wake up early, so they will get things done before 8 a.m. even.
I think I'm a dolphin now.
Yeah.
Previously, I was a bee.
But okay, as an adult, we do parties, Zoe. And let's say after the partying hour and consuming alcohol and stuff like that, and nowadays I feel like I need more than 2 days to recover. But actually, how long does the alcohol would actually dilute it from our body to be able to, not affecting our sleep?
Okay, so everyone works differently how they metabolize the alcohol. So it's very hard for me to answer that. But typically, happy hour, the 5 to 7, I
Yes.
think, is it happy hour?
Love
That's
that.
when you should be consuming alcohol because you always try to avoid going to bed too tipsy.
Right.
Oh.
Well,
Because alcohol may actually help you fall asleep because it acts like a sedative.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it will affect your quality of sleep because it will shorten your REM sleep.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
well,
Okay.
speaking of quality of sleep,
Yeah.
I've been having problem with that, but maybe not the quality of sleep, but the ability to fall asleep.
Right.
This past month have been hard for me personally. I can say that I'm insomnia or something.
Probably.
Probably.
Maybe.
So, do you have any tips for people like me who is experiencing, difficulties to fall asleep, or for people who feel like they have a poor quality of sleep itself?
Okay, so if you have trouble falling asleep, it may be that your body has too much cortisol, and cortisol is the stress hormone. So you need to know how to manage your stress better, okay, so that it doesn't affect your sleep at night.
Right.
Okay, so a good way is to, learn how to unwind. Maybe read a book or talk to your loved ones. So a good way to relax, or maybe doing prayer and meditation, all this will help you to sleep better, to fall asleep easily as well. So you gotta make sure that consistency is the key.
All right.
Hey.
I didn't know that lunchbox can be such a
So
burden for
stressed,
moms
right?
like us.
Every individuals have, different
Yeah,
types
different
of
types of
levels,
difficulties.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you did mention about the food that we need to avoid just before bedtime. And you did say that, stay away from gadgets because of the blue light, stuff like that. And how about the beddings, the sheets? I mean, will it actually
That it has to be a certain fabric
will
or
it
certain
help
colors.
us, help us to sleep even more comfortable or not?
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, if you find that your bed sheet actually makes you very comfortable when you sleep, that's a good thing, okay? So you want to have those bed sheet that's cooling because our body temperature needs to drop by 1 to 2 degrees
Right.
in order to induce sleep. So nothing too hot, right? So keep the environment cool. Actually, experts recommend it's 16 to 20 degrees. That's a good temperature to help you fall asleep easily. That's why it's easier to fall asleep in a cool room than a hot
Oh, that
room.
is so
Oh,
true.
I
That is
agree
so
to
true.
that.
And what about colors? Is there any specific colors
Of the room.
of the room or
probably, of the bed
beddings
sheets.
or the walls?
Well,
that
maybe
can-
just something that is very zen-like, keeps you calm, nothing too bright, because at night you want to keep it completely dark, like your light needs to be turned off completely. And how dark it should be that you can't even see your hand, okay? That's how dark it should be.
I see. Pitch
Because you
dark.
want
So
to
pitch
boost
dark.
the melatonin production.
So it has to be pitch dark. But let's say those things don't work, Zoe, and still we have like lots of people don't get enough sleep. What is actually the effect of don't get enough sleep in short and long period of time?
Okay, so there are five hidden reasons for insomnia that a lot of people has never been told about. Okay, so number one is that they might be suffering from hormonal imbalance. Okay, number two is mineral imbalance, same thing as hormones. So if your minerals you have too much magnesium or too much calcium, all this can affect your sleep quality and quantity. Okay, and if your gut health has a problem, okay, you have leaky gut syndrome or you have dysbiosis in your gut, okay, all this is going to affect your melatonin production and cortisol. So you need to find out exactly what's going on with your gut, and then you can improve your sleep. Okay, and then we also have, if your liver is congested, okay, so you will show signs of fatigue and sleep issues because your liver is not able to filter all these toxins that can cause inflammation to your body, so that could actually disrupt your sleep. And the final one is food sensitivity, which I talked about just now a little bit. What you eat is very important because you are eating food that causes inflammation to your body. And so what happens is when your body is inflamed, your body will release cortisol because cortisol is an anti-inflammatory hormone that will fight the inflammation. And cortisol is also the reason why a lot of people, their sleep is disrupted and affected because cortisol is the stress hormone that keeps you awake and alert. So if your body is releasing cortisol at night, then you're going to have sleep issues.
All right, let's talk more about food sensitivity because I believe that a lot of people here in Indonesia are still not familiar with that term. How can we find out about our food sensitivity? Is there any certain test that we can take in order to find out about that?
Yes, you can do a food sensitivity test to see what kind of food you may be sensitive to. So I personally, I found out that I'm sensitive to clams. So there was one time I was like eating this spicy tofu soup with my husband in a Korean restaurant. And I was happily consuming it, but I did know that I'm sensitive to clam. But that night, my sleep was terrible. But I knew it was because I was consuming clams during lunchtime.
I see.
Is it some kind of a blood test? And what's the result
Yes,
like? Can
it's
you
a blood
elaborate more?
Yes, it's a blood test that you can find out more. So they will send it to the lab, and the lab will actually look at what sort of food that you may be sensitive to. And most of us, I think a lot of people, they are sensitive to 5 major food. Okay, so it is actually gluten,
Yep.
soy,
Yeah.
eggs, and also wait, give me a moment. There's also corn. Yes, corn,
I see.
soy,
Egg,
Gluten.
and what else have I missed?
gluten. Gluten, egg, soy, corn.
Yeah.
Dairy, is it included?
Yes.
Dairy products?
Yes, dairy too.
I see.
Okay, very interesting. Now, we've been talking about, how, sleep disorders for adults. Now, how about, getting the right pattern to sleep for babies now, not for toddlers, but for babies. Sometimes it's very challenging, right?
It is.
Now, how do we actually have, or do you have any tips or tricks as the, sleep master itself?
And also mother of twins.
Mother of twins, yes. To make the babies.
I'm a mother of 4 actually.
Mother of four! Wow!
Okay, to make the babies sleep in a regular pattern.
Yes, so I have a 5-step system which I wrote in my book,
There you
Sleep
go.
Baby Sleep.
I see.
So the first step is you gotta understand the science of sleep.
Right.
Okay, so you gotta understand what's going on with your sleep cycles, your sleep patterns. Okay, number 2 is you gotta prepare the ideal sleep environment for your baby. Okay, so you gotta have a consistent environment that is safe, dark, and cozy, so that they know when you put them into the cot, that is where they're supposed to be sleeping. Okay, number 3 is to have a good schedule and routine that is age appropriate for your baby. Because if you put your child when they are so overtired, they will be very cranky and they'll be crying a lot. So you gotta put them down before they even get too overtired.
Right.
And number 4 is to have a plan, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? Number 5, teach your child the art of self-settling. They need to learn that they can fall asleep independently without anyone's help. So no more rocking them, patting them, or even, nursing them to sleep, because a lot of parents think that it's their job to help their babies fall asleep, but that's not true at all. You need to teach them the skill of falling asleep independently on their own, which is what I didn't know about that when my twins, so I was always rocking them using the hammock to get them to sleep. And so I thought that was my job, but it's not our job. Our job is to teach them that they can self-settle on their own, and our job is to make sure that they have a good routine in place so that they know when is it time to sleep and when is it time to feed and all that.
So from this conversation, I felt like the ability to fall asleep is actually a surviving skill. Don't you
I
think
think so. But does it affect the psychological aspect of the baby if we don't,
Rock them,
or we pick them up when they cry? Will it affect them
Of
psychologically?
course, the thing is, you need to know you need to tell them when is the time for them to sleep, okay? So we need to create a healthy association.
Yeah.
So when they are crying because they are hungry or they are having discomfort, we definitely need to pick them up and comfort them, okay? But when it's time for them to sleep, we need to teach them that they can self-settle on their own without our help. Because if you always help them, then they make that association that, I always need someone to carry me to sleep, and that's why they never get to learn this skill of self-settling.
Okay, one more thing from me. I did share with my colleagues here and also the audience at home that my sleeping pattern gotten better because of my coach during my body weight journey. And my coach said that if I wanted to reach a certain goals and to maximize this, I have to have the good sleeping pattern. And can you even elaborate more? How does sleep affect people's weight? And also, do you have any tips for people who would like to maintain their weight or to lose their weight when it comes to sleeping pattern?
Okay, thanks for pointing out. There was a study done on 2 groups of dieters. Okay, so they both consume the same amount of calories. One group was put on a very sleep-deprived schedule. They only have 5.5 hours of sleep, and the other has like more than 8 hours of sleep. And did you know what happened to the group who was on a very sleep-deprived schedule? The amount of fat they lost dropped by 55%. Okay, so this group actually found out that they were very tired, okay, and they were very they will always want to keep eating because they felt so their energy was just zapped after every meal. Okay, so what the researcher concluded is that when you are very tired, your body makes it a priority to hang on to those fats.
Oh my God.
Now you know.
Interesting fact.
Now you know.
Oh dear God. Okay.
Interesting. I love this talk. Zoe, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
You're
Zoe. Okay, so now we know more, and now we can keep, maintaining our
Yes.
weight, right? In the correct way by sleeping correctly also.
Yes, and thank you so much for the sleep expert, Zoe Chu. Thank you for being here, and I hope everything is good there in Singapore, and also take care. Stay safe. Say hi to your 4 children.
Bye, Zoe.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Interesting.
Now that we know lots of things are actually correlated to how you sleep and also the sleeping pattern.
Yep.
And actually, I have some fun facts about me and sleeping.
What?
I might want to share with you.
Sure.
It is quite unique that I usually don't like to sleep with my top on.
Right.
So I was like topless, but on a blanket. But I would wear socks. I would wear socks because I read in this one article saying that with you wearing socks, that actually cool down your body temperature by 1 degree, and that actually sends the signal to your brain that is saying, hey, it's time to sleep.
Right.
So-
I will start trying to do
Try,
that right
please
now.
Please
Tonight.
do. So, and also there's actually a system of 3, 2, 1. So your last meal, taking the tips from Zoe earlier, 3, 3 hours, your last meal should be 3 hours before your sleeping time.
Right.
Your last drink, aside of water, should be like 2 hours before your sleeping time.
Right.
And 1 hour before your sleeping time, every screen is off, so no blue lights. Spend it like, you know, probably having some conversation with your spouse on the bed, or probably just reading.
Right.
And that worked for me.
Oh.
Thank you for sharing. I will definitely try that tonight.